many of you have stood up from a chair after writing a thesis perhaps and heard every joint creak? Yes. How many of you then thought, I don't feel that old? Well, if you're like me, you've thought that at least once. That concept, that disconnect between how old you actually are, your chronological age, and how old you are inside, your biological age, is something that has been researched since the 1970s and is something we're using today to study how populations age. The global population is aging like never before, and it's predicted that we will have 2.8 million people over the age of 85 years in Canada by 2050 alone. So what do we do to study aging? We're not just about extending the lifespan here. We want to make sure that all those 85 years you're predicted to live are as healthy as possible. But to do that, we need to understand what makes aging so healthy. And that's where we turn to the blue zones. You may have seen the Netflix documentary, but these are regions where individuals live to be 100 years old and are not only 100 years old, but they're centenarians in very good health. They have good psychosocial outcomes, they have very flourishing social lives, and they're very physically healthy for their age. And so what we've done is we've taken two different types of biological age outcome measure in one of these blue zones in the Nicoyan Peninsula of Costa Rica to assess healthy aging and how that differs in that blue zone to individuals from the rest of the country. Today we're talking about two different types of biological age predictor. Firstly, epigenetic clocks, and then the healthy aging index. Epigenetic clocks take DNA methyl groups that attach themselves to your DNA throughout your life course. They're a part of normal biology. They help your cells function normally, but they're also part and parcel of life exposure. If you smoke, if you're very physically active, those little tags will be added to your DNA. And we can measure them and get a prediction called epigenetic age. If I'm 31 and my epigenetic age is 50, that's a bad thing. If I'm 31 and my epigenetic age is 25, that's pretty damn good. So our second measure is the healthy aging index. The healthy aging index takes 5 major body physiological systems and assesses them in tertiles, so groups of 3, score 0 is bad, score 2 is healthy, score 1 is intermediate, to give you a score out of 10 based on how well you're physiologically functioning. We assess those measures in the Nicoyan Blue Zone and beyond to see what we would find. And what we saw was that individuals in the Nicoyan Blue Zone, especially men, were actually epigenetically older than their counterparts in the rest of the country, which is interesting because this is a male-specific longevity hotspot. So what we're going to do now is to see what that epigenetic age measure means at the cellular level and how that interacts with that physiological measure to assess what it means to age healthily and to translate this knowledge to Canada. What I can tell you in the interim is that it's probably a good idea to stand up from the desk a few more times during the